Before I read the opening statement, I just want to point out the unique coalition that President Trump has built here. If you take Tulsi Gabbard or Bobby Kennedy and now Lori, the last time Sean and I was in this room together, obviously we had our differences. And Bernie, I think you remember that well. But somehow we were able to put our differences beside because President Trump asked us to. And when the words come up, like Biden administration was the most pro-union labor person in 50 years, you got to remind yourself, he also lost the labor vote by 59% because it wasn't working. But President Trump brings something unique to the table as he's built a coalition, and Lori represents that. Lori represents someone that is uniquely positioned to bring people like Sean and I, who presented Lori to President Trump and said, this is someone that we can work together with. And I would hope that you would set your biased opinions to the side and understand that this is a negotiation between two fractions of the party that is saying we're willing to work together. Employees don't exist without employers, and companies don't exist without employees. And I recognize that as much as anybody. And there is a position where we can be at, that we can find a negotiated agreement where we can set some differences aside, like the PRO Act. I think my position on that has been very, very, very clear. Oklahoma is a right-to-work state, but unions also thrive there. And at the same time, we can find common ground. Lori represents that. And so regardless of what you might think about the president, understand that this is someone that everybody should represent and should respect. If you're looking for a bipartisan, independent thinker that's going to represent the union that you want Mr. Sanders to say that you represent, when you understand that you have a president that's representing the Republican Party but also won the popular vote, you would think this is someone that you'd be very happy with. Because she is directly, uniquely positioned in the center. And I truly say that from a position that I've had to move a long ways. And if I can move, and if Sean and I can move and come together on this, then that, if nothing else, should set some type of an example. Even though I do joke with my new friend over here, which I had the mic and he can't defend himself here, that if we were in a relationship, I'd be the man in the relationship. He adamantly denies that. But I say that because now we're friends enough that we can make fun of each other, and at the same time, we can work together. And so I want to read my statement, but what I've covered is pretty clear, and I wanted to say that from my heart. So, Chairman Cassidy, thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts and support on the nomination for Lori to be Secretary of Labor. As the Senate has gone through the advise and consent process of confirming President Trump's nominee, things have gotten increasingly partisan and contentious. But one thing that both sides of the aisle agree on is supporting working-class Americans that power our country's economy. No company can survive without employees, and no employee is hired without a company. It takes both sides to be in the boat, rowing together in the same direction to be successful. I'm only moderately successful because I've been very fortunate to have employees that was willing to get in the boat with me and row in the same direction. With Lori's unique background as a small business owner, public servant, and through her relationship with union leaders, she has the ability to bridge the gap between businesses and workers. Lori's nomination reflects a historic coalition of working-class Americans and elected President Trump to a second term in the White House. As a member of Congress, she often worked across the aisle in her efforts to support this cause. One of those issues is the PRO Act, as has been mentioned a couple times. I know that'll come up in conversation today. I get it, Oklahoma is a proud right-to-work state. And yet, we still support Lori. But as both sides of the table can continue to work together for hardworking Americans who have been struggling to put food on the table and to create better opportunities for themselves, their children, and their grandchildren. I don't think we have to look any farther than understanding Lori is an independent, nonpartisan perspective who will always keep the workforce the top of mind. And I would really encourage all of you to take a hard look, just like my good friend Sean and I have done. So with that, I'll yield back.